join internationally acclaimed overland expert Paul Marsh and award-winning journalist Gregory Simpson as they delve into all things responsible overlanding. From choosing the right vehicle, getting yourself prepared, getting your vehicle prepared, safety tips, and much, much more. Only on Responsible Overlanding. And the innovation of products, especially with the American market blowing up, there's a lot of R&D going to rooftop tents, water, the whole trip.
Great. Now, globally, and a good friend of mine, Scott Brady, has driven in many respects that along with people in his Overland Journal and the work he's done there. It's great to see. It's really good. I encourage it. It's lovely. I think we should collaborate together. There's enough work for all of us to enjoy this overland market. It's not about one having it all. There are some amazing companies that build some incredible vehicles with great ideas.
And guys like Andrew and Ronnie must also be good for spreading the word and getting eyeballs on overlanding.
You know, those guys have dedicated their lives. I mean, I've known Andrew a long, long time. And I don't know Ronnie, but I know he does great work too. And there are other people in the industry. I mean, Scott does great work, the Expedition Portal. I mean, there's loads. We won't even be able to list them all. Yeah. And I think, credit to everyone who puts themselves out there, who actually is willing to share, to take on criticism. This is not about criticizing the information we all share. This is not about finger pointing. This is about taking the intention. What is my intention? What is their intention? Our intention is to share our passion, our love for overlanding with you who are looking to get into it. So there's no right and wrong. Take the intention with how it's meant and go with that intention and grow and add to it. And the collaboration these days with what people can do and how they can do it is enormous. And just have a lot of fun. That's what it's about. I'm passionate. I come to work every day because I love what I do. I love the people I connect with. I have incredible people. I consult around the world to people, so I'm getting to connect with people globally. It's really exciting, and some people I'll never meet and some vehicles I'll never see, but I'm helping them build their vehicles and I'm helping them prepare their lives and their whole expedition, and it's all done.
So you're not consulting only in Cape Town builds, you do builds in other countries around the world?
My consulting in Cape Town is minimal really in South Africa. I have got South African clients, but most of my work, 85% of my work is global. People come to me with ideas, thoughts, dreams, and quite often I'm sourcing vehicles here in South Africa, and we're doing a whole proposal where we can buy the vehicle here, build it up for them, train them, kit it out, ship it maybe to them.
That's what I mean, is the actual hard, the nuts and bolts happening here, yes. And then you ship it out?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got clients where we ship vehicles to all around the world. Once the vehicle's built up, it can travel globally. We're able to register the vehicle, we're able to prepare the vehicle, put it in a container and ship it, and eventually finds its way around the world and back into Africa again. So and the length of time people travel is varied. It's something that, is there a sweet spot for travel? Well, I guess if people really want to know the sweet spot, it's probably about 2 months. 2 months and then taking a break. But most people who are going to take time out want to go 6 months or 12 months. That's fantastic. I take people, absolutely, but take time out.
But you'd recommend it 2 months before
No, I would say definitely do a shorter trip and then build up. No, some people do a short test trip and then they're on to their
test trip. Would be a week or so?
Yeah, a week, maybe 10 days. It just depends how they're into their vehicle. The ability of, or the value of doing a test trip is really to connect with the vehicle and connect with this way of life and understand, is it working for you and what changes you need to make before you hit the big road. Because it's much more difficult to start making changes when you're on the road and fixing any problems that aren't right and stuff. So it's, anything bolted to the car has potential to give a problem if it's, added to the vehicle. And that's the critical thing about choosing who works on your car, because you need to know the equipment has been fitted mindfully, knowing where it's going to go and that you're going to have to maybe repair it on the road. So that's important. We don't always get that right because products can fail depending on how people treat them. But then again, it's about education. You know, if you look after a product and you treat your car well with respect and you drive it carefully, it'll serve you. If you abuse it, you never let tire pressures down, you hit the rough corrugations, you're putting all that shock load and vibration through your car, you're asking for trouble. So, you know, it's about, again, educating the people on why. Why do we do that? What's the value? You know, and people will go the long drives, but it's important if you're doing, you know, if you're doing a year long or 2 years, or I've got one client, and they are on a 4-year trip, and they, you know, but they take time out. They'll take a month and they'll just come and spend it in Cape Town here, and they'll just chill out and relax. And that's important, because traveling is actually very stressful. If you think about it, you know, our everyday environment is known to us. We get up, we go to work. It's almost a program that runs in the background. You know, we can do it with our eyes shut, pretty much. You drive to work and you sometimes wonder how you got there. Well, on expedition it doesn't happen like that. Expeditions vary. You're getting change, you're getting environmental change, you're getting stimuli from the outside experience that you're getting. So it's always changing. So it adds a different stress, and it can be very stressful. So you've got to manage that stress, and you've also got to manage the time out you take, because it's really tiring. And I think when people get burnout in an expedition, it's sad, because they've pushed themselves to such a point to do, instead of be, enjoy, take in, move on.
Stay somewhere for 3 days, chill out.
And it's, you know, and take that time to actually just relax and understand that this is not about knocking out the tick list. You know, it's very sad when someone says,
it's a big mistake trying to get too much done.
Absolutely. You know, people come and do Namibia and they want to see the whole of Namibia in 2 weeks. Namibia is massive. Yeah, it took 2 months. You might have a good chance of seeing a good section of it. You won't see it all. So that's the hard part. It really is. But again, that's something I really work with my clients on, because, you know, you don't want a fixed structure. You don't want a fixed plan. And if you've got time constraints, rather group it into, I need to spend so much time in this country and I need to spend so much time in that country, and leave it a little bit flexible. Because the flexibility is what you need. You know, timing is different. You're going to get a border post and maybe it takes you an hour, maybe it takes you 3 hours.
So you've got to slow yourself down.
Yeah. You slow yourself down to really, you know, when we're living in our heads, we are chasing the watch.
Yeah.
I haven't worn a watch in 20, 30 years. Took it off when I was a game guide in Botswana for a few years. Never put it back on. I don't miss a watch. I do need to look at the time. Obviously, I've got to manage time. But when I'm on a trip, on an expedition, the last thing I want to do is look at a watch. There's a big ball in the sky that tells me the time, and that's good enough. Hey, you know, it's getting dark. I need to go and sleep. It's getting light. Let's get up. It's the best part of the day. That's good enough. You know.
Just live by the sun.
Well, you know, it's a different. You're connecting away from another gadget.
Exactly.
Okay. Sometimes you need to know.
Too many gadgets in Overlanding.
Hey, listen, I love gadgets, so can't say that. You know, it's a lot of fun to have gadgets and bits. Yeah, I think what's really changed the gap in overlanding for us is being able to film stuff. You know, the days when you used to travel and you would see the kids and they'd wave and you'd stop and you'd take an old Polaroid camera and you'd take a picture and it'd spit out a photograph. You still get them today. And you give it to the kids. So snap and give was the term.
The old Kodak.
Polaroid. Used to
Insta.
Yeah. Anyway, snap and give. Okay. Now when you drive through, what do you see? The kids have got their phones filming you.
Yeah.
So it's totally reversed. So, you know, it's kind of like, okay, so we used to do that, and so now you can engage and have a bit of fun.
You must wish you still had some of that footage from way back when.
I've got lots of stuff.
The video stuff.
No. We have got some of the later times on video, but my early trips are all on slide, and you know that's hard work. You used to go with your slide film and you used to put it into a box and try and keep it cool.
Get your mates around and come watch your mates.
Yeah, that's it. And now that's hard work.
You'd have to supply the beers to keep it interested. And ever, on the flip side, any clients after 2 weeks they say, this is not for me, and they sell the truck?
I've never had that, because I really feel that the groundwork beforehand should have identified that. You know, if people are really unsure, I'd encourage them to go and do a trip with a hire company or a self-drive. Self-drive is probably better. It's self-drive is been a big thing. And Safari Drive, well, I think people who don't know, it was one of the early companies who really led the way in self-drive for many, many years in Africa. And Charles American, the founders of that company, did a lot of good work. And there are a lot of other companies that have come on board. And self-drive is very different to hiring. So self-drive is kind of, they'll help you plan your itinerary, and they'll handhold you and they'll support you, and you can take their vehicle and it's wrapped up in a package and off you go. Whereas hire is very different. You know, you go, you find a company, you book your car, and quite often the equipment is not going to be the same as it would on a self-drive because you're paying a different rate, which is fair. But you need to then understand that there's a big gap between taking that vehicle and having the knowledge you need to go. And sometimes in some trips I say to people, you maybe got to add to kit or request to hire more kit depending on where you're going. So it's not a case of thank you, I've got a hire car and I can jump in it and race off and go. You know, it's about understanding again what you don't know that you don't know. So I encourage people, if they haven't made up their mind, well, let's do some training, let's get the picture created so that when you do go and experience this type of experience, you do it knowing what you could be in for. And hopefully not a bad experience, because I think often people can go along and without knowledge and training and some sort of idea of what they should be doing, they can have a bad experience. You know, they're great companies, and I've got a few of my clients who actually, they're guides, they take people on trips. You know, you can go, it's going to cost you a bit, but hey, listen, you're going to get someone's experience in the bush firsthand. That's priceless.